Our job begins where most advisors stop. Saving money is great, but how do you spend it without risk in retirement? Welcome to Every Day is Saturday with Brad Gotto and Matt Stahl, partners and private wealth managers at Fiat Wealth Management. In this podcast, we aim to broaden your knowledge about the financial world we live in today and make the boring and complex financial decisions fun, informative, and educational. Join us on this journey where Brad and Matt will explore different strategies on how to spend your money without guilt and have peace of mind knowing you are spending it the optimal way in retirement.
Welcome to Every Day is Saturday with Matt Stahl of Fiat Wealth Management. I'm Patrice Sikora. Now, this is Matt's first episode in this podcast series, but his partner Brad Gotto has already had a chance to sit behind the microphone. This time, we will learn more about Matt and why he does what he does at Fiat Wealth Management. So let's start at the beginning. Matt, how'd you get into this business?
Yes, Patrice, thanks for having me. I started off as a young child and I always wanted to be an architect. I really like the intersection of the number side of things with the creative side of things. As a kid, I would actually design homes and build Legos, and I was always fascinated by all those things.
And did you leave those Legos in the carpetings that your parents had to step on them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably still do that. It's my wife stepping on them now instead of my parents.
Right.
As I continued to go through school, I still had an affinity for the creative side of things and the number side of things. And as I got to the point of choosing what direction to go for a career, the rational side of me got the best of me. And in the conversations I was having, I decided to go to the route to become an engineer. The type of engineering I chose was industrial engineering.
Okay.
For those familiar with the engineering world, it's the engineer that isn't able to make up their mind. So keeping my options open, my thought process was I would be able to land a job much easier. It would be a very marketable skill to go that direction. And I plodded through school, had a couple of rough patches in there where I questioned whether that's what I wanted to do long term. Mm-hmm. But I decided to push through. And I graduated with a degree in industrial engineering and minor in business management. And I was hired for a very small company straight out of school.
And
I was hired as a design engineer. And 2 weeks into that role, the owner of the company came up to me and pointed out that I hadn't been sitting at my desk very much. So he said, "You're not a design engineer, are you?" My response was, "No, I'm very interested in talking to everybody and seeing the inner workings of the business and how everything worked together." Okay. And at that point, I realized that my life was going to take a different path, and I was interested in the business side of things more than the engineering side of things. At that point, it was time to go back to the drawing board, and I threw everything at the wall, looking at different career paths. I debated becoming a chef. I looked at going the arts route and attended a seminar and becoming a financial advisor. I didn't expect to walk out of there very interested. But what I found is that there was the intersection of creativity, because no two people or two families are the same. The number side of things is obviously there. And then the helping part was a huge part for me, having a direct impact on somebody and being able to see that.
You said when you were in school even, you had doubts about being an industrial engineer. What were those doubts?
Yeah, going back to when I was at my first role in that first company, I'm not the type of person that's going to go down the list of to-dos and check all those boxes. I'm the type of person that's going to look at that list and say, should we really be doing all of these to-dos? And is there a better way to do them? At that point, I realized that I wouldn't be in a role that was so narrowly focused.
Okay. All right. Now, I mentioned Brad Gotto before in the introduction. He's your partner in Fiat Wealth Management. How did you two meet?
Yes, we both started at a big box firm as financial advisors right out of the gate. I was actually in a different regional office than Brad was. The corporate office decided to combine those two offices, and Brad was the leading advisor from that office. And I actually I was his advisor coach, and that's how we met. We realized quickly that we had some common background. We're both from Iowa. We're both a big fan of the Iowa Hawkeyes. That was the team we rooted for growing up. We also realized that we had similar interests and complementing skills at the same time. And so our conversation just continued to evolve further and further and further from meeting that first time.
It seems to me it's coming back to me now that you and Brad's wife went to the same school.
Yes. Myself, I met my wife at the University of Iowa in Iowa City, and Brad's wife also attended there.
Oh my gosh, it is a small world, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So when you guys first met, as you say, it just kind of clicked?
Absolutely. We are very different people in some respects, and we're very similar in other respects. And what we found as we started doing these brainstorming sessions where we would just take off from the office, set aside an hour, go to a coffee shop, and just start throwing ideas up in the air. That's where we really started to get some traction and realizing where our strengths complemented one another.
What is your idea of success, Matt? What do you want?
Yeah, my idea of success is waking up Monday morning, looking at my week, and being excited about everything I see on the calendar. I am driven by creating things. I like to build things, is what I say often. And when you approach that from a business standpoint or the financial plan standpoint, there's a lot of different pieces to that. I'm not the best at any of those pieces, but what brings me satisfaction is to assemble the team that does build that plan or does build that business. And I feel that to have the greatest impact is to involve more people in that process and empower them to do what they're best at.
All right, take that thought and tell me what you do now at Fiat.
Yeah. I still play a personal advisor role to a handful of our clients. As we had junior advisors begin becoming part of the team, Brad and I have both taken on a leadership role wherein he is focused on the sales side of things, and I will be focused on the back end side of things for those advisors. So it's helping them come up with a business plan for themselves, looking at their progress to see if they're executing on that business plan, and then helping them in having those conversations with the prospects and clients when they're sitting down with them one-on-one.
Okay. Do you have a motto or a mantra or something that you share with these people or that keep you going and help to keep them on track?
I've been through several coaching programs. Some of those are one-on-one coaching. Some of them are structured as a mastermind group. And one of the most effective takeaways I have was creating a personal mission statement. That was, in going through that process, they pulled it out of me, and I feel really, really good about where I landed. My personal mission statement is to inspire others to chase their dreams and remind them that every day is an opportunity to do so.
Oh, tell me more about that.
As part of the conversations that we're having within Fiat Wealth Management, when we talk to clients, we talk about teaching people how to spend their money, which sounds kind of backwards in our industry.
Yeah, because most of the time you're saying, oh, you got to save. This is what you got to do to save.
Right. What we found is that we were sitting down, we felt like we were having the same visit over and over again. We would sit down with these folks. They could afford to live the lifestyle they wanted. And oftentimes we'd hear people talk about how they really want to go on this trip someday. They really want to do this. They really want to do that. As part of having those conversations, what is really empowering for us is we love to be able to go to them and say, hey, everything's on track long-term. Go do it. We're not going to live forever. We don't have unlimited numbers of days. Go after what you want to get. And every day is precious, so make the most of it. And that's kind of the central theme of the way I approach everything and how we want to inspire our clients and our team internally as well.
How did you and Brad together come up with that mindset that we're going to help people spend their money wisely, of course, but spend their money?
Yeah, part of it was those conversations we had when Brad and I decided to embark on putting ourselves out there and putting the firm out there to the general public. We started a series of workshops, and part of that mantra was informed by sitting down with so many people over and over again and seeing this pattern. And we began to connect the dots of those patterns we did see over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, if you go see a financial commercial of any sort, it's focused on scarcity. So it is, you have to continue to save, you're never going to have enough. You get the same messaging over and over again. And we said, why don't we just flip that on its head? Majority of the people that we're having conversations with, that's not their issue. They've done a great job of saving money up to this point. Now it's time that we teach them to spend their money with a peace of mind, knowing that they're doing the responsible thing.
And how do you do that? How do you tell them to change their mindset, turn them really 180?
If I'm in that, being an engineer from my background, it's not enough for me just to sit down across from someone and for them to tell me that it's going to be okay. Now, that is an important piece of a relationship, is the trust. But I believe we also have to know that that person knows what they're doing. And so as part of that is digging into every different type of software that exists and going after each area of financial planning. What we really pride ourselves on is focusing on the big picture and digging into the areas where other traditional advisors perhaps will not go. And that all started with the tax planning side of things for us. And what we found is if we can show people that there's a plan where we're optimizing their tax picture, ensuring that their money will last, that gives them the peace of mind to wake up Monday morning in retirement and not worry about what they see in the newspaper. Not worried about what the headline's going to be today. They can continue on doing what they love to do, no matter what's going on around them.
Then the clients you have, are they mostly older clients? They're established clients?
Yeah, great question. We, as part of our public workshop program, because of the content that we're covering, that is focused on taxes in retirement. Mm-hmm. A majority of the folks we run into there are 55 plus from an age standpoint, or they're approaching retirement or already there. And what we found Brad runs our public workshop program. And one of the things that he says that I really love is talking about climbing Mount Everest. How most people assume that the ascent, so climbing the mountain, is the most difficult part of that, when in reality, it's just as dangerous on the descent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Coming back down. And from that perspective, that's the type of people that we tend to run into. Now, from the standpoint of myself, I have 4 young children deeply embedded in our community. So Brad and I are similar in age. We end up running into people similar in our age as well that we can help. We just aren't out in the public seeking that.
These people who you 55 plus that you've brought on as clients, have they had financial advisors before that were more focused on the save, and now they're looking for something new? Or have they just been saving on their own?
Yeah, we run into, typically, they're either what we call do-it-yourselfers, where they have been managing their investments themselves mm-hmm. up to this point, or they have been working with an advisor that's helped them grow this pile of money. And we'll use that phrase often. Now, when you flip the switch and suddenly it's time to start taking money out of those accounts, that's a whole different set of expertise and skill set altogether. There's so many moving parts, and one decision is going to affect 3 or 4 other factors when we start digging into the tax side of things, when we're considering Social Security income, health insurance premiums. That's what we found is there was a large gap in the market for that expertise. And that's why we decided to go that direction.
Do you work with other professionals, or do you just kind of keep everything in-house?
We do work with other professionals. We work with an estate planning attorney that is associated with us. is not part of Fiat Wealth Management, but does serve many of our clients. And we also work with a CPA team that is also a separate entity from Fiat Wealth Management.
All right. You say you have 4 kids.
Yes.
When you are not working, what do you do for fun?
Yes. I like to describe it as an overarching theme is I like to breathe hard in nature. And I like to involve my kids in that as much as possible. Mm-hmm. As I said, I met my wife, Katie, at the University of Iowa. She's also a recovering engineer.
Okay.
She manages a CrossFit gym that's in our community. So that's something that's really important to both of us and to set an example for our children. So we spend a lot of our time with the gym, and we, as a group, we like to go pursue outdoor activities. So that's mountain biking, snowboarding. We really like to spend time outside. 3 of our 4 children are competitive soccer players. So I will be actually running straight when we wrap up today to go coach a soccer team. So I spent a lot of time doing that as well.
Been there, done that. Good luck, honey.
Yeah. I'm only coaching 1 right now. There's been times in the past where I was coaching 3 teams at a time. So outside of the office, we spend a lot of time with our family. We like to spend time outside. We like to be very active. We're very involved in our community, and that includes our friends as well.
All right, 2 recovering engineers.
Yes.
What do you hope for your kids?
Yeah, great question. I hope that they find what really lights them up and they just go full out in that direction. As a child, if I think back, one of the funniest memories I have is I was set on becoming a professional wrestler someday.
Oh, good for you. Who was your favorite?
I was a big Hulk Hogan fan.
Okay.
And yes. And
Roddy McDonald was mine. Sorry.
There you go. And I remember sitting in the living room of the home I grew up in, sitting in there with my parents, and we had these little dumbbells, and I would just do arm curls forever, thinking I was going to be like Hulk Hogan someday. And although I didn't follow that path completely, I have managed to integrate that into my life. So fitness and health is a big part of our lifestyle. I feel like I get to do the things every day that just excite me and keep me inspired. And that's talking to other people, helping them, finding creative solutions. My extracurricular activities outside of the office are all my passions. So that's what I want for them. I just want them to find something that they really, truly love and to not forget that.
That's not easy. Good luck on that.
Thank you.
Tell me something most people don't know about you, besides the fact that you love wrestling.
Great question. Most people wouldn't assume that I was an engineer if I told them. My personality is I'm actually not a details-oriented person. I'm much more the big picture person. Mm-hmm. Then I prefer to assemble the teams within there. I was just asked to share an interesting fact last week. I like to arm wrestle people that are much larger than me. And I have
Sounds like wrestling to me.
So there's a recurring theme here. Brad's actually witnessed one of those in person where I almost held my own. That's my claim to fame, is I almost stalemated an NFL linebacker in an arm wrestling match. So.
Whoa. All right. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. Then tell me, what is your proudest achievement? You can say the kids, but give me something else. Your proudest achievement, your achievement.
Yeah. I think we're talking about it right now. If I think back to 15 years ago, when I was first getting started in the industry, I feel as though some days I wake up, I get to do exactly what I want to do. So as part of Brad and I building out Fiat the way that we have, once upon a time, it was just myself, and I had a small team of people spread throughout the country. It was just me working with clients. And when we sat down and we painted out the vision of what this was going to look like, part of that was each of us concentrating on what our passion was and running towards that. And Brad's passion is public speaking, being up in front of a crowd, having an impact that way. My passion is building things. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily care to be on the stage. That part of it is fine, but I love just assembling all the pieces and seeing something built, and also realizing at the same time, it's never going to be done. And just realizing that I get to wake up and I get to see all these things that we've built. We've built those with our own two hands, and others have helped us. And there's the teams that we've assembled to do all those things. That's what I'm proudest of. And that does spill over to my kids and my family, and setting a good example for them and showing them that, hey, I'm doing exactly what I want to do. And therefore it's allowing us to live the lifestyle that we do.
Where would you like to see Fiat go?
Yeah, so if we think back to a year ago at this time, we were in a much different spot. We had just started to build out our team. We were all sent home in a matter of weeks.
Oh, no.
When COVID struck. Yeah. And if I think back to about a year ago, I'm sitting in the basement of our old home, looking over everything and saying, gosh, where do we go from here? What does this look like? We have so much more clarity where we're at today. Now, at that point, we had 2 staff advisors. Now we have 4, and we're looking to expand our team further. We have now begun to branch out to supporting other advisors to help build out their internal systems and processes, and to think clearly about the marketing that they are pursuing and the type of client that they want to work with. That's where I see us going, and that's where I see us having even more impact.
Sounds perfect for an engineer.
Yes.
All right, Matt, if people have questions for you, they'd like to reach out and talk to you, how can they get to you?
Yeah, so if you go to our website, it's www.fiatwm.com. You will see on there, you'll see all the advisors listed. There's actually a calendar link in the website where people are able to grab a time directly in each of our calendars.
Okay, great. And that is Matt Stahl of Fiat Wealth Management. Now, in this podcast, Every Day is Saturday, Matt and his partner Brad will explore topics and issues of concern to retirees and those who are close to them. To know when new episodes are ready for you, subscribe. Just use the subscribe button right on this page. And of course, you can share with the share button. I'm Patrice Sikora, and let's talk again later.
Thank you for listening to Every Day is Saturday. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Fiat Wealth Management or Foundation's investment advisors. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.